Hey guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. In today's video, we're going to approach the first of two videos for this project, which is a 4x6 puzzle cube. So when you're finished, you'll be able to work this project just like a puzzle, and I'll show you how all of that works as we go along. So for the first video, we are going to work on the box that's the base of the puzzle. So what all of the cubes go into. In the second video, we'll make the cubes, and I'll also show you how to attach the photos so that you can turn it into a puzzle. So when you're ready, let's get started with the base. Oh, and by the way, I will put all of the links in the description box below so that you can easily access the other video when it becomes available. Okay, to make this box, you're going to need a slice of cardstock that is cut down to the dimensions 8 inches by 10 inches. And I designed this in such a way so that you can use A4 cardstock all the way up to 12 by 12 easily and still have it fit on the page. So again, that's 8 inches by 10 inches. And then we need to do some score lines in order to create the box. So I've prepared this one earlier, and in an effort to make my videos less lengthy, I have actually pre-scored all of this, and I'll just give you the numbers for how to score the paper, or the measurements for how to score the paper. If you're not sure how to make score marks, or you don't have a paper trimmer and you need to do it with a ruler and a stylus, let me know. I can make a video on how to do that. But for this purpose, I'm actually just going to assume, for this video as well as for the next video, I'm just going to assume that you're already comfortable with creating score lines. So the scores are the same on all 4 sides, and they amount to 1/2 of an inch from the edge, 1 1/4 inch from the edge, and 2 inches from the edge. So measure in 1/2 an inch, score, measure in 1 1/4 inch, score, measure in 2 inches, score. Turn your paper and do the same thing. 1/2, 1 1/4, and 2 inches. And so forth, until you've got all 4 sides with these measurements scored into them. Of course, you do not need to draw the Sharpie lines because you'll be able to see the score marks. I only did that for the magic of television or YouTube so that you can actually see where the lines will run. Okay, now we need to do some cutting. Once you've got your scores, you only need part of this paper in order to make the box. So you are going to need all 3 of these pieces, and you're going to need a tab here. So this tab here is going to be needed, this piece here is needed, this one here is needed, and this one here is needed. And we also need a tab up here. And the same thing on the other side. There's a tab. You need all 3 of these. And again, you don't need to draw the lines, just cut around them. And then the large rectangles on the side you're keeping. And up here as well, this one here and this one here, as well as, of course, the middle. So anywhere that I haven't put an X, we're actually going to remove that with a pair of scissors. So go ahead and do the removal, just cutting into it. I'll speed this right up so that you don't have to watch the whole thing. You get the idea? There we go. Now that we've removed all of the parts we don't need, we have a box template. And that's actually a really good point. You may actually want to create a test template so that if you're making a bunch of these for gifts or something, you can actually create these X's so you have something to follow going forward. The most valuable tool in a creative person's arsenal is in fact the template. Now we do need to cut into one of these tabs, and then we're going to do some folding and assembling. So what I'm going to do is actually cut from the narrow ends in, and I'm going to cut from this point here to this point here. Now we are going to crease all of the score lines, and we're going to start with the big ones here. Making sure your creases are very firm. Then we're going to do the next one up. And the last one is actually going to fold away, because when it comes down to it, it's going to tuck in. So you want to turn it over and fold these away. And tabs folded in, little tabs folded in, little tabs folded in. And now we're ready to assemble. So you have a couple of options for assembly. For folding purposes, I have created a second one that doesn't have the big X's on it, so you can see what it looks like completely finished. And I've also applied some double-sided tape in a couple of key areas. You can also use glue. It all depends on what you have available to you. Doesn't really matter. As you can probably tell, liquid glue will need to be held down a little bit more in order to, you know, make it work. But whatever you've got is totally, should be totally fine. Okay, so the first place that I've applied tape is to the ends of each of these tabs. These tabs are going to tuck in underneath to create the corners. And you can actually apply it closer to the corner if you want to. I'm not too worried about it because I find that this tape in here will hold it together really well. It all depends on how you feel about it. So I'm going to peel off that double-sided tape. And if you're working with glue, do one corner at a time rather than all four for obvious reasons. Make a huge mess. And if you're doing double-sided tape, you may also want to remove the tape from these inside ones as well on either end. Don't worry about this yet. These can come off in a minute. So we're going to fold up these corners and turn them into little boxes, making sure to give this, make sure it's nice and tidy and flush. And same thing here, lining them up really well. And you may find that you need to trim the little rectangle slightly so that everything fits together really well. It will all depend on how neatly your score lines were made and cuts and etc. You may need to finagle it a little bit. Okay, and the fourth one. And now all of these extra folds are just to neaten the box. So I'm going to fold right over, tuck it in like so, and press, tuck it in like so, and press really firmly on one end, and do the same thing on the other end. There you go. And then you can trim up this corner if you want to on the inside so that it lays flatter. It's up to you. And you may find that you also, so just trim the corners off, you may find that you'll also want to tape down this flap as well. I'm not going to for these purposes, but if you want to, you could run an extra bit of adhesive along this end flap as well, just to keep everything nice and flat. And again, same thing. You can trim this before or after, doesn't really matter. I like to do it after because it's not always the same. Each box is slightly different. So, totally up to you. All right, so now we're going to go in and peel the other ends off. Just here. And here. And again, same thing. I'm going to lay it down on the table. pressing down really neatly. And again, trim those corners off to match. And in this case, I think I will glue down these big long ends. Again, you may need to decide that as you go. Because it may not need it, it may need it, it's up to you. Okay, so a little bit of tape. Stuck it down, pull it back, and press down, like so. And same thing here. I've got the tape on the inside, and I'm just applying a little more tape here so that it can stick down nice and neat. And press it down and press it straight down. And there you go. The base of your puzzle box has been created. Now, if you want to, you can also, if you find that you don't like the way this is laying down, the little end pieces, you can also cut a rectangle of cardstock to a 4x6 shape and glue that inside of it so that it's even neater. It's up to you. I haven't in this case because it's not double-sided. With this pink one, I might have actually, if I were using this as an actual gift, I might actually take a 4x6 sheet of 4" by 6" sheet of cardstock and do that. But there you go, one open box. I've also had requests to do a soap box, an open soap box. You could use this for soap as well if you wanted to, homemade soap. But if you are planning to create the puzzle, then tune in tomorrow for the cube video, and we will create a puzzle box. All right, have a great night, guys, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.